I have to sit up then, I guess.
This is the classic, what are we all wearing on top of our shirts, right? If we're all sitting here, if we all have pants on, isn't that the thing that they talk
Right.
about?
I have shorts on.
So do I.
Well, so we can't approve minutes.
No.
We're not calling the meeting to order.
Well,
Okay.
but Violet, you could take notes and then
Yeah, I am.
whatever they are,
I've written down things, so. And
Okay.
I'm sorry, Robin, it doesn't show your last name. What's your last name, Robin?
Campbell, Campbell.
Okay, well. Salud.
Yes, sir.
Salud. My goodness.
But
And you're a volunteer, right, Robin?
I am for 2020, yes.
Okay. All right. Just making sure I get the right people in here. So.
Okay, so
Okay,
we are broadcasting live on YouTube as well. So
Okay.
hi, everybody. I didn't know we were live on YouTube. This is the Arts Council
Kind of frightening.
September meeting.
Okay.
And we'll just start right in. I'll give an update on our community mask project, which is that we have about 59 masks right now. So we're getting there. And we've decided to extend the deadline. And I was going to say September 30th, just to go to the end of the month. I am waiting to hear back from the art teachers at in the Rhinebeck district, and I reached out to Mamaroneck, but I haven't heard back from an art teacher there yet. So I'm hoping to get the art teachers involved and then do a little bit more publicity around this. Robert, you're not here, is that right? Because I don't see him anywhere.
No, I don't see anybody.
Robert said that he could help us with publicity as well to get this, to get the information about the project. I think hopefully now that it's September, we'll be able to get a little bit more visibility just through the school, through flyers, through talking to teachers,
Right.
that kind of thing. You know, I'm still hoping for 200. I don't think it's unreasonable to expect that. I know we got off to a really slow start, but hopefully with some of the kids involved and the structure of the school year, some of the teachers will be able to get more. So thanks, Joyce Marie, for picking up the masks at the library. We canceled the live library event. Violet was going to do it with me between last meeting and this meeting because not enough people signed up. So the library canceled. But it was the second week of August, and I'm not surprised. So maybe we'll do another library event. I'm waiting to speak to them about that. But is September 30th good with everybody? Do we think it's a reasonable date?
Do you think that's enough time? Do you think, like, to get in touch with the teachers and get responses? We might have to extend it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing too.
Well,
Just-
I also don't think it's bad if we leave it open-ended. What, do we have to have time?
No, we don't. No, we don't.
I would just leave it open-ended.
Just say, but so that we'll put on the poster
Oh, get out of there.
extended. And we just won't. I mean, in one way, if stating a deadline is good for
Right.
So nobody
people
could-
that see it, then they know that they have to submit it by a certain date. Otherwise, we might have some disgruntled participants that are going to say, well, I missed it or something
Yeah.
like that.
I think you do have to set some type of solid date, but I don't know. I agree with Jane that given how fluid everything seems to take twice as long because everybody doesn't know what's going on. The kids are in school, the kids are not in school. People are going back to work, people are not going back to work. You know, things open, things close. It adds that whole extra time factor. It seems like we're all like in some kind of time suction loop thing that we never get anywhere, but that's just the nature of where we are at this time.
So Marina, we could extend it maybe another week to maybe October 15th at the latest,
Yeah.
perhaps?
I think that's a good date because then we can turn the whole thing around.
And
and
whatever
get
we
it done.
have by that time, you know, Are you contacting only elementary art teachers?
Middle school and high school.
Okay.
Do you know any art teachers?
Well, I could ask Debbie Minetta if
Oh,
the names of some art teachers, and I could check with you if you've contacted them. And if not, then I could contact them.
Okay. So let's you and I talk outside of the meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, and Marina, I have 5 masks that I picked up from various places.
Oh, good. All right. So you have 5. Joyce Marie, are you out there? I think you have also 5. Is that right?
Hang on, we're coming off mute. Okay, go ahead.
What's up there?
How many do you have altogether? How many did you pick up?
I picked up 3.
3.
Okay.
So that's 8 more.
So we have 5.
We have 5?
No, I had 2 and I picked up 3.
Oh, good. So you have 5 and Jane has 5. So it's 10 more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then I think we're up to like 64, something like that.
Okay.
Okay, great. I was able to get about 40, so a large, or 30, 35 of them from the RIY. So that was a nice influx.
That's good. Right.
The kids there participated. After our last meeting, I brought them a bunch of masks and they had them done in a week. So that was great. All right, any more on the mask project?
No,
I don't have anything.
no, I think that's good.
October 15th, that's the new date.
Yeah.
Okay. Violet, do you want to talk about art on the Avenue? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Jane and I met, and actually Jane was the one taking the mad notes during the whole thing. But but we discussed, again, the time factor, that because of everything that's going on, I don't think it's realistic that we're going to be able to get this together with everything that's involved, before the end of October. It's just not going to happen. And then we get into the winter, and then we get into everything. And I think we were discussing that it might be better to have a longer time frame and possibly plan for a spring on the Avenue, with the hopes that there may be a big enough change in terms of our present environment to be able to have a more extended period of time for people possibly to participate, and also to maybe gather some momentum behind it. Again, working with the schools also working with maybe some adult groups that could also have art teachers or art programs that they could then put in. And, Jane and I were saying that it's not going to be a juried thing. I think that's a bit more than what we want to get into now. And we want to keep it open-ended, that it just has to be, I don't know if it should be landscapes of Mamaroneck or the feel of Mamaroneck or people of Mamaroneck.
Yeah, we said kind of anything to do with Mamaroneck, right? Like landscape, buildings, architecture, persons, home, food, still life, anything that reminds someone, for whatever reason, of Mamaroneck.
So that we're not so fine in our narrow in our parameters that people feel like they're too closed in, or no, that's not me. And I was even thinking of, I don't know how to do it, but also as part of it, to do maybe some beginner acrylic classes where people can learn how to mix colors, how to do something very simple, because I'm not an art teacher, but something so people may be able to get some confidence to actually even take that step to open themselves to the possibility that they have some art in them somewhere, and they can express it in an environment that's safe, that's not judgmental. The only thing we talked about is like no nudes, because we don't want to go into nudes. That might be a little bit too harsh for some people. And just to kind of make it more welcoming, and even we discussed that if we can think of it as a bi-yearly thing, if it goes well, to do something in April and then let people know that we may be doing something in the fall. That would be like a continuum, the way the the poetry, everybody knows it's coming every year. And expand from there, but start with this,
And she goes in the black again.
like a small goal, a small goal.
I think it's just no lighting there.
I'm sorry, what? I didn't hear what you said, Joyce.
Towards the picture.
You are,
Go ahead.
Okay. And we were also discussing, Jane and I, about how to get people started. If we should offer the possibility of a basic kit, some canvas boards, which are much less expensive than canvases. You can get 25 canvases, depending upon the size on the boards, for like $20.
Mhm.
You can get basic art acrylics. You don't have to get the Winsor Newton or the Rembrandts, which are $40 a tube, and some basic brushes, and then give them the tools and then let them explore and see what they come up with. But within a guideline, we just have to figure out the framework to make people, sign up with a commitment in some way. And then there are other things that Jane probably wrote down that I've completely forgotten.
Well, the other things we
Can I ask a
discussed,
question?
obviously having a flyer and contacting, well, let's say the Chamber of Commerce, and then talking, once we had something that was like advertising the Mamaroneck paints for Art on the Avenue or something like that, to talk about what our goal is, and then to contact like everyone on the avenue, asking if they would be willing to have something on display in their restaurant, shop, whatever. So asking everyone and trying to get as many people who would be willing to have art in their store, restaurant, etc.
And
So,
yeah, you had
and we were thinking like maybe having balloons outside, those like blue balloons, because Mamaroneck has a blue, our color is blue, and having those outside the store or the restaurant so that everybody knows that's one that has something inside. And maybe like for Shakespeare, Marina, where you had somebody dress up, maybe we could dress up, I don't know, in something, the beret and something, and walk up and down the avenue. I don't know, something to be dramatic. And then, we talked about a little bit about the budget, enlisting the art teachers in each school.
having flyers.
And hopefully it would increase business for the avenue.
We have
So
thought
that's what we discussed so far.
Yeah.
And maybe a certificate and a list of the artists, and maybe the mayor and the board could, I don't know, make a big thing of it.
And also,
So that's what we just discussed, as much as we could just brainstorm.
and also make sure that the people that are participating, the business owners and the restaurants, etc., that when the publications or however we get it out to the community, to know that name the ones that are specifically good, so that it's also an incentive for the business people to know that their name is also going to be added on the places where people can go. So it's free advertising for them.
Mhm.
So really all the things we were kind of.
Robin, I think you were trying to say something.
I think Jane answered the question. I was wondering where it was going to be displayed and if they had a date.
So it sounds like you have both done a lot of thinking around this. I agree that it looks like next spring. And because of that, I guess we're going to have to be a little flexible as to exactly what it looks like and whether we can paint together in person or not. I mean, there's so many elements that we just.
Right, so many things, right.
Also, the possibility of using Instagram page to show the artist's work. Maybe we can stream this. We can talk to Robert or Dan or somebody to help us out with.
Not gonna work. Sorry, he doesn't want to play.
Yeah, so thinking about social media, I think that would really help in terms of what you were saying to Violet of offering some more visibility for the restaurants or the shops or whoever is sponsoring this. Then we can incorporate that too. Anyway, I think that all sounds good. Anybody else have any thoughts on it?
Sounds like a good idea.
Paintings remain in the restaurant or the store for a period of time, or is it like a one shot and there's a day where everybody comes and there's art on the avenue and maybe refreshments in the stores or something to come and have a glass of wine or something?
That's actually one thing that Jane and I had spoken about, that we would have the open day of a show. But rather than having, of course, in a gallery, it would be on the avenue. And we could also talk to the restaurants, the people that provide food, to have a small, inexpensive drink and an appetizer or something that would also, again, have people come in the avenue. But then the art would remain on display for a month. And we're thinking about little portable easels, or even if there's a place on the walls, depending upon the place, to do, those command stickers where the art can be put on a board that again goes on it, so it has a little bit of presence rather than a little 2x4, something that people are going to just walk by, with a little bit of something about the topic and a little something about the artist.
Good.
I was wondering if maybe we do a theme, like Mamaroneck, what inspires you? Some kind of theme. I like themes. Yeah. And I even like what inspires you for a lot of things that we might do as a council. It just seems to be a really opening question and an invitational question.
Like something that makes you happy. What makes you happy? What, everybody's so...
I'd be curious if we say Mamaroneck, what inspired, Mamaroneck, and then what inspires you in a different color or letter, a different typeface, so that the question is really open and they can interpret it. It feels kind of fun to go and see how people will respond, and it gives them a little bit of direction. It'll be their own direction, but at least it's a response to a question.
Yeah, it's like, it's always amazing to me how you can have a life drawing or a still life and whatever, and you will get 20 different interpretations of the same exact thing, and all of them are completely and totally, the artist is in the work. So that's okay. So I guess the question is, once we get that, then I guess again we're going to have an idea of, first the Chamber of Commerce, I guess, is the first step. Because I think we should really work with them, because they've got a lot of contacts with people. They have the rapport with the people on the avenue. They did, of course, all the restaurant things so that the avenue looks busy again. All of that has been very successful. So
is that the chamber actually, or
I don't know if it's the chamber or the county?
1 second.
It was a combination. It was a combination.
I think another version. Okay, so I think you now have a quorum, so you should.
No, we do.
Oh, do not. Who is it who just popped in?
I'm Melinda Bowie. Super late. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry.
Well, you're there. It's good.
Little bit of a child situation, but I'm here.
Oh, I'm glad. Thanks.
So now that you have a quorum, you should open up the meeting and then probably just review what you've discussed already.
Very quick. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize.
Thanks for dropping in. All right. Somebody want to make a motion to start?
Let's open the meeting. What time is it?
Sorry, guys.
7:25, it looks like.
7:23.
Oh, 7:23? Okay.
Now it's 24.
Everybody's going to have a different time because of how.
Okay.
Okay, who seconded it?
I will. I'm late. I'll second it.
Okay. I figured it was a kid issue, because that's what always happens to us.
Always a kid issue. You don't want to know, but I'm not going to waste our time on it.
Okay.
Nice to see you all.
So I
I'd
guess
like to start off by reviewing the minutes and asking if we can approve the minutes from August 3rd. Did everybody have
Yeah,
a chance to review?
I read it. Yeah,
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 So the minutes okay?
yes,
yes.
yes.
Okay, so the minutes are approved.
Mhm.
I'll just recap what we've discussed so far. We reviewed the community mask quilt project, and it seems to me we've got about 64 masks to this point. They were collected from various locations in town, and a good portion of them came from the kids at the RYY during
Oh, great.
the program. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that worked out really well. And then our next initiative is to get the schools involved, the Rhinebeck and Mamaroneck schools, from little kids all the way up through high school.
Okay.
I've reached out to some of those teachers and I'm waiting to hear back. I'm not surprised they're not going to get to me probably until next week.
Okay.
So
What's the youngest on that you're looking for? Because I can help with some of that.
you
Like,
know,
would you do preschools or no?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Just judging from the quality of the masks
Yeah.
I look at that kids submit. I mean, if we're doing a quilt, I'd like to include children.
Yeah.
But I've even seen some of the ones that came from the Y, and there's a whole range, right?
Okay.
I think at some point we're going to have to edit a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So I'm thinking more like the grade schools,
Okay.
starting with elementary and up.
Yeah. I'm happy to speak to our art teacher at Central about it as well.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll drop you a note about that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Definitely.
I'll send you the note that I sent to the teachers.
Perfect. Perfect.
Was there anything else on the art, on the math project?
We-
We still have those. Oh, yes. We've extended the date to October 15th.
Okay. Great.
And so we have to get back to those. Maybe Jane, you and I could do that. Go back to the library and the various places, the drop-off places, and change the poster.
Okay.
Okay, so Art in the Avenue update. Do you want to recap that, Violet?
Okay, basically we were talking about it, and we've decided, given everything that's going on, we're gonna go for a spring, late April when the weather turns good, hopefully. And have, go with the Chamber of Commerce and other local places and approach all the business owners about having the art in their shops. And we're gonna do both the businesses and the restaurants so that everybody has an opportunity to increase the flow through their stores. And also to do it as an opening, a gallery opening day where the people that offer food and drinks can have a small little inexpensive side thing that they can offer to people when people come in to look at the art. We're going to have balloons that will highlight the places that have the artwork of our participants. And also their names will be put on some publications or advertising that we're going to be doing so that people know which places also. So it's a bit of more incentive to get them involved.
Great.
And then what the idea would be to put it out to the local teachers, to see if they're local art teachers, to see if they're local seniors that are meeting, or whether it's Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
Have them aware of what we're offering. We're not going to jury. As I was saying, the only stipulation is no nudes. And yeah. Marina had mentioned that we would have something along the lines of a theme of like what inspires you.
Great.
So
About the Mamaroneck.
yeah, something about how Mamaroneck inspires you, or what you can do, or how it works. And also possibility that, I don't know how to do it, but to do some very basic art classes for people that may be intimidated by the concept of acrylics or applying to a surface, just how simple it is, so that they can feel comfortable to just do what they want to do.
Okay.
And judge people. We're not going to jury again, within limits to go with that. And to potentially do this twice a year, to do something in the spring and let people know in the spring that we will also be doing something in the fall, so we can build some momentum and not have to keep reinventing the wheels that people who begin to know that we're going to do this know, we can start. You can put your name in, you can do something. That's where we are. It's that. Yeah. That's it in a nutshell.
Right?
We had just stopped when Laura and or Dan were going to clarify something about the Chamber of Commerce, I think.
So I can say it was, so the Chamber of Commerce worked with the village. They came up with a plan and the village provided all of the barriers. So it was a combined effort.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And actually I saw a couple of new ones last week, so I think it's still ongoing.
Yeah, I mean, I think the as restaurants see it being, an avenue for them to enhance their operation, they're taking advantage of it,
Yeah.
which is a good thing. And it really I don't think it's impacted our ability to provide parking on street at this point, which is a good thing.
What is the outlook for fall? Are they planning on doing heaters or anything like that? Or it depends on the restaurants, or we'll see?
I think our initial thought is, we're kind of mirroring this after our sidewalk cafe program, which allows those sidewalk cafes to be out till I think the second week in November. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't think you'll be able to have heaters that will. Or you're talking about the types of heaters you'd see on the sidelines in a football game. Those are basically airline engines. So I mean, I think functionally it'll just have to. It won't be able to do it during the cold winter months.
It's going to be too cold.
I think we want to try and for the restaurant's sake, get as much as we can.
Okay. All right, I think it sounds good for Art on the Avenue. We'll have to get working on it, even though it's next spring.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's why we got all of a sudden freaked out and said, there is no way we're going to make November with this.
no, that can't work. But reach out, figure out what your needs are and what kind of help you need, and then let us know. And if you need it before the next meeting, let us know. And if you need it, or else just after the next meeting, like maybe you can do a call out for volunteers.
Right.
There are a lot of different aspects to them. Make it work right.
You had mentioned, before I forget, in terms of possible people for the board, because Jamie, you had mentioned that in the last meeting, that Jamie had to, we call it, resign.
Yeah.
I'm on board, because of her, because of personal issues. I have a friend who is a writer. She worked for many, many years as an editor and is also a writer and a poet. She lives right here in Mamaroneck in Fairway Green. And she might be interested in joining our group. And I thought it might be a nice mix to have somebody that is a writer and editor that can help with publications, that can help with pamphlets, that can help with anything. And also as in terms of working on the writing part of the arts, because we do offer that also.
Is Fairway Green part of the village of Mamaroneck?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So, if that's good, who does she, I forgot the whole process.
She should send the resume. She should just send the resume to mayor and board at vomny.org, and also make sure that the clerk treasurer gets it.
So if I send it to the
Sally,
Arts Council, then it would go to her automatically?
she should send it to, no, she should send it, you know what, I'll send you the address. I'll just send you the address.
Great, thank you.
That's probably
And
easiest.
put in her resume and everything. She's, she's very, very interested in it from the literary point of view of what we could do to also promote that for Mamaroneck.
Sounds good. You know, yeah, have her submit a resume. That sounds good. I forgot, also, if anybody else has anybody in mind, step up in the next few weeks, because I think we could use a decision pretty soon.
And how many openings do we have? It's not Jamie. We need to replace Dina.
You have 2, I think. Let me just, I can just check right now.
I think it's 2 as well.
I think it's 2.
What about that person that came on and then quit after like 1 meeting or something? Doesn't that count?
Who?
I don't remember, but there was someone that came to like,
Oh, Susan Jashansky.
yeah, like she came to like 2 meetings or 1 meeting and then decided to quit.
Oh,
Like,
Larry is on.
oh, Larry took hers.
Well, I don't know.
You have 2 openings.
2 openings.
Okay. So please, anybody who has
Yeah.
a recommendation, let us know.
Right.
Sherry, do you want to continue brainstorming about the craft fair?
Yeah, so I sent an email to Asha, and I haven't heard back from her, but things could be kind of hectic for her right now with school opening. But I think I would, just to make it easy this first year, just mirror it along the same lines as how that other art Facebook group is. And what you do is you just create a private group. And I was thinking of making up like just a 1-page flyer informational thing that I would send to all of our artists who have worked with us in the arts and crafts fairs in the past, and tell them, please disseminate as you wish. And we could send it to the community at large and put it in, you know, how we always do PR to get artists. We could do all that. And they send a request to join the Facebook group. And there should be at least 2 admins, I guess, who approve the requests of each artist. And then once we have enough artists, then we could start sending out the PR for it to the community, to the shoppers. And right now, the Facebook group that I was modeling this after, as a shopper, you have to request to join the group. And I think that's a good idea. On the one hand, because then you don't get crazy people, I guess. But on the other hand, so I don't think you can make it completely public, because then you'll get everybody and their mother trying to sell things. So I think you have to keep it private, and then whoever wants to shop, they just have to be approved for the for the group.
Right.
So I think that's the easiest way to start it. And we could use Instagram to spread PR and have a link on Instagram to the Facebook group, because I don't think you can do this group the same way on Instagram. But Instagram could definitely be used to publicize it.
I think the closed group is a really good idea for the first time.
Yeah.
It gives us some control, and it gives us a way of monitoring, knowing who's out there.
You can't have it closed for artists and public for shoppers. It's one or the other for everybody.
Right.
And so you don't want people popping up like trying to sell, you know, crazy things. So let's start with it as a private group at first and see what happens. I mean, that the Native American group does really, really well, and people who sell on that, I mean, the price ranges to extremely high to not so high. And I love this idea, because people who were turned away from the arts and crafts fair because maybe their stuff wasn't, you know, up to par, can sell on this along with everybody else. So it gives everybody an opportunity, no matter who you are. So.
No, I think it's a great idea. It's a wave of the future for a lot of things.
Well, in this day and age, I absolutely think so. And you know what? Even if in the future we can do an arts and crafts fair live again and in person, this
Yeah.
can still be something that goes on its own. You know?
It's always running in the background.
I have a question, Sherry. I know that Facebook groups that I'm part of don't have a very sophisticated platform.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering, how does it look? Like when I think of this kind of thing, our craft fair, the possibility, I think of like an Etsy from Amerenik, like for, like that. But would it really be that, or is it like a scrolling thing, like one artist and then you see the next artist, the way you do on Facebook?
Right. So it is a scrolling thing. However, so the artists, I'm trying to remember how they do it on this other site. So the artist every once in a while will post their art, and in their blurb it says, gives a link to whatever website they have or Etsy site, or just here's my email and here's what I'm offering, and they'll number their wares, in a picture. If you're interested in one, I have 10 of those, and email me and they take payment through PayPal or whatever. But I think what you can do, however, is there are two things. As a shopper, I believe you can look up who the members are. And we could have some sort of code next to, somebody's name maybe, or something like Sherry Allison with a check will mean that I'm an artist, not a shopper, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing we could do is, and I don't know how to do this, but the reason I wanted to do on Facebook is because it's easy and it's sort of self-generated by the artist. But if we wanted to have a backup eventually of a website in some way where somebody could see all the artists at the same time, that gets complicated. But
That's a complicated platform to do something like that.
It is, because then you really do need a webmaster to keep up with it. See, having it on Facebook, it's really pretty self-generated. And anyone, even a shopper, can post and say, I'm looking for rings, what artists on here sell rings, and then they can get comments and people contacting them. So it's sort of a two-way street. That's why I kind of like this idea.
Or if somebody wants a commission, they're looking for somebody that does pottery, and I'm looking for something like this, who might have, a vase, who might have a bowl, and then they can be contacted by the potters.
Right. And so when you go, and when you go on Facebook, you know how when you're in a group, you could search. So someone could search, put in pottery, and we could tell the artists, look, when you post, put, pottery in your blurb, put these, they're the keywords, like you do on Google, the optimization. You want to put all your keywords in your post, and post, you could post once a week, or, however many times you want to. And so people can search that way as well.
Is it possible, Sherry, a couple of questions. One is, can you remind us of the name of the Native American site so we can just understand how that looks?
Santa Fe, it's New Mexico, right? New Mexico, Santa Fe?
Yeah, I think so. I want to get it right. So let me just pull it up for a second.
This is I was my 24 hours in New Mexico on my disaster vacation. They have beautiful stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are really fairly.
They're gorgeous.
All right, so loading.
Hey.
I feel like I should sing.
Do you?
That's it. The easiest thing.
Do we have a musician on the Arts Council?
I can't sing, but I'd give you some.
Robin can.
Oh, Robin.
Yeah, that's right.
or something.
You could go with something simple, the Queen of the
That's a funny room to look at.
That is
Look
very.
what happened to our friends Solange and Joyce Marie. They're gone.
No, we're here.
There.
Oh,
There's a hand.
Oh, we're socially distancing in my,
Ah,
Oh, good. All right, there they are. Yes.
we have a question. If an artist like Joyce Marie doesn't have access to a computer, could she post her work on Facebook with maybe just a phone number or something that a shopper could contact her if they're interested in her work?
Oh, here it is. Wait, hang on. Yes, and any way to contact it you want.
Joyce Marie, you can put, instead of your phone number, you could put a link to your website.
Wow, that's true.
This is an apology call from your electric utility.
you really don't want people having your personal
Some
phone.
put their phone on mute.
I know.
That was a real phone. I don't know how to put it on mute.
No, you can put your Zoom on mute.
Oh, sorry.
You have a phone? Seriously? I have an Apple. I've never seen it.
Sherry, while you're looking, oh,
Yeah,
did you
talking,
find-
I'm looking.
so my questions would be, if I'm looking at this other site, but my question to you is a couple of things. One is, from a marketing point of view, to make distinct who the artists are,
I see.
could we,
Be stuck in traffic if my car stops permanently.
are you talking to us, Joyce Marie?
Oh, sorry, we're just ascertaining the technological level of Joyce Marie's.
Oh,
So we're gonna go on mute now.
okay. See you soon. Oh yeah, so we can think about maybe creating a format that they can all abide by, you know, so that all of the artists maybe are featured with a blue background or something, you know, we can offer them that just for their opening statement, and then they can do whatever they want. I'm just thinking, it doesn't have to be a blue background, but maybe the words are the same, or maybe it's just the title, like artist, or something to think about, just so that we can distinguish them, so that it doesn't get all messy.
You don't even have to do that, because the only people who are posting are the artists. People who are shopping
Yeah, they're just commenting or
do
whatever.
not post, right? If they're interested or they want to say anything, they're commenting on the artist's posts. And so I'm scrolling. So of course, now that you've asked me, I am scrolling.
Can't find it, of course. Murphy's Law. Right?
Sherry, don't worry about it. You can email
Yeah,
it.
Gary, I think you gave it to us at another meeting. I might have it at home. I don't know.
I
gave
did.
it that website.
But I was quickly skimming the article from the New York Times that I sent you, and for the life of me could not quickly find what the group's name is. But it's something like Socially Distant Powwow or something like that. It's
All right, well, we'll find it. I think you gave it to us another time.
I'm just going to keep scrolling to see if I can find it, and then I'll shout out. And
Okay.
but yeah, so the great thing about it is there is nothing like that, because the only people who are posting are the artists.
That is good, yeah. So they're all artists then, yeah.
They're all artists, and it comes up because I'm a member of the group. Everybody's posts come up on my feed except for right now.
Excellent.
Right.
You know, yeah. Whatever.
Then I think we're gonna need, well, first of all, what's the timing on this? Because I think it has to happen soon, right?
Well, I was going to time it to when I would normally have the Arts and Crafts Fair, which is December.
But I mean the outreach.
Oh yeah, it's got to happen.
And what do you need? What kind of help do you need?
Well, right now, like I said, I reached out to Asha, but she has not gotten back to me. So,
well, you need posters, so we can.
Well, no, I don't need posters. This is all digital. We're not. This is all going to be online. So,
So we're not going to publicize it in town or do anything like that.
No. I think that we publicize it, we blast it out from socially distanced powwow marketplace. That's what it is. Social distance powwow marketplace.
That's cute.
And you know, so I just came up to one of their posts, and they have recorded Zoom interviews between an artist, like two artists.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, which is really fun. Like they do things like that, which is really nice.
Boy, that, to your point last week, that really helps us establish the artist registry too.
Right. So I think we should start small. Let's see if we can do this and see if it grows. And then if we want to add things to it or change its format or whatever, then we could do that. But let's start it, you know, first things first and see what kind of interest we have.
Yep.
That sounds great. I love that idea.
So,
all right, just like everything else, you'll let us know how we can help.
yeah, I'll send out, if I need help with something, I'll let you know.
I want to ask before I forget, does anybody have any idea where the February minutes might be? Did we talk to you about this, Violet?
Yeah, we did. Nobody remembers.
With that?
Nobody remembers.
Was February the month that we didn't have a quorum?
We had a quorum because that was when I started. I mean, I got voted in then or something.
Right.
So I know I didn't take the minutes. I think we did, but it keeps coming around again.
Right. I know. I don't have any.
Does anybody want to create the minutes from that day?
I sent something to Jackie.
A collective memory at some point.
I sent something to Jackie, I think from my own notes. I don't remember what month they were though.
You know, I'll check with Jackie.
Was that our last meeting that we had in person?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we would have had a March meeting, right?
Did we? Yeah, maybe.
Because it was still early.
Right. It was still March. Yeah.
Robin, you asked about if our meeting dates have changed, and they have not. It's still the first Monday of the month. It's just that this Monday was Labor Day.
Oh, that is different because we used to have our meetings on Wednesdays.
On Wednesday.
Right.
Well, for Zoom, we've switched it, just for Zoom.
So it's the Monday of the month.
The first Monday of the month.
And Jackie is still part of the group?
Yes. Jackie's father passed, so she's taking some time.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
She asked me to tell you, so.
Oh.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he had been sick.
So you've taken over as the head of the group?
Jackie and I are co-chairs, so I'm just jumping in we're usually sharing meetings, but
Okay, got it.
I'm just doing it a little bit more while she's gone. Okay, so February minutes, we'll figure that out. And Jackie asked me to mention the possibility, what everybody thinks of painting those concrete barriers on the avenue. I don't. Are those going to last, first of all, through the winter?
They're not going to last through the winter. I mean, I think, Dan, is that safe to say? Is Dan there? I mean, I think they can't be there when we have to be plowing snow. I think that's a limiting factor. And and I don't honestly see how how people could heat an outdoor space to continue to use the restaurants outside in the winter. You know, you'd have to enclose it, and that's the whole point. I mean, they're not going to build a tent and heat the tent. So right. I think that the Jerry anticipates removing them before the first snow. Hopefully before the first snow. Mm-hmm. Just like in Colorado, it snowed yesterday.
Yeah. Right. Crazy.
Yeah.
So if they're going to be removed then I think that that's a moot point.
Right.
But it might not be a moot point for next, well, hopefully it's a moot point for next year, but
Right.
I hope we don't need them next year, but
Right.
I know, but I guess maybe we should be open-minded about it and have a backup plan.
Yeah, I think we keep it on simmer. We'll think about it. Okay.
Marina,
Yeah.
I found the email that I sent to Jackie on my iPod because it was easier to do it. I can check to see if I have them in my computer and I'll forward them to you.
Thank
It was
you.
just my notes. They're basic mini notes. I tried to remember who was there by memory, but I always take notes for the meetings. So I did have some notes that I, took and
Melissa, that's amazing.
Jackie.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful.
So I will make a note,
Send them
right
to me
now
now.
to send you.
I'll add whatever I remember, and then I might ask around a little bit, but together we will figure this out. Send
Yeah, I did send it to Jackie, so I'll try to.
it to me. That'd be great. Thank you, Melissa.
Sure.
Robin, do you want to bring up Spooktacular?
Say it again.
Did you want to talk about Spooktacular you
I
mentioned?
was just, with everything being canceled, I didn't really know what the recreation department was doing, so I was wondering if there was anything that's spectacular with social distancing or if that's totally canceled.
So the rec committee met last week and there's no way to do the Spooktacular. They are doing a series of craft things and those have already filled up. They did a series of small, socially distanced, sort of pumpkin themed fall events, and those have filled up. I don't know if they're planning on doing any more, but we can't have groups of larger than 50 people, so we couldn't possibly do the Spooktacular.
Are they doing anything with decorating the windows like they used to do on the stores?
Again, it would be more than 50 people, so it's really not something that's feasible to organize. We're not allowed to organize an event of that nature.
Right, okay.
So I don't know whether there's a way of matching kids with a store, but I think that that's not
Feasible right now.
feasible.
Yeah, it sounds like we might have to take a pass for this fall.
Right.
So sad.
It is sad.
I want to be mindful of the time. I said it would be 1 hour and it's almost 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up? And yeah.
Nope.
So
Well, we have quite a few things going on. I mean, we've got the art fair, which I'm really excited about. The art on the avenue for next spring, and we're going to make another effort to get more masks in the next month.
Yes.
And then we can start talking about other events for the spring at the next meeting.
with hope that we'll be able to do things next year.
Right.
Yeah.
For everybody.
Melinda,
Yes.
I'd like to invite you to bring your genius forward in whatever way you'd like, because I really appreciate that you made it tonight. I know
I'm
that.
sorry. I apologize for being late.
Thank you for jumping in though, because
No, absolutely.
we wouldn't have had a meeting. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to have an official meeting. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. My
I
pleasure.
really appreciate it. But I know you're really busy, and I also know that you have a lot of talent to bring. So if there's any way
Thank you.
you'd like to do
Yes.
something, just sound forward and we'll make that
Absolutely. Yes, I will. Definitely.
Okay. Well, that's it for me. I want to thank everybody for being here. I love that we can get together in this way anyway,
Yeah.
at least one time a
Yeah.
month. And I'm really excited. I'm
Thanks,
really
Marina.
excited about the
Yeah.
quilts. I'm holding on hope to that
Yes.
I have a quilt.
Okay. And then we'll be in touch, Marina, you and I,
Okay, we'll talk about
this week. Okay.
pictures and other things. Okay.
Okay.
And also, maybe we should all have a glass of wine. We can at least drink a glass of wine together socially.
Yes, that would be fun. That's a good idea.
Oh, look at her. She's prepared.
I'm ready, but it's empty. I gotta train my kids a little bit better.
Okay. All
Thanks
right.
a lot, everybody.
Okay.
Bye. Be well.
Bye.
Bye, be well.
Bye.
Be safe,
Bye-bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Who made the
Night.
motion to close? Who? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Good point.
I'll make a motion to close.
Close.
Okay, Jen. And who's seconding? Oh, Melinda. Okay. All right. We'll send these out to you guys. Thank you.
Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.